Well, I think we're really gaining ground when the field guys start buying in. That's a really good sign. So earlier when I was up here, I talked about our initial vision. It was very limited. I think we had 3 things we were trying to achieve when we got into this. After going through this project and partway through our second project, we've kind of expanded what we want to achieve with in using BIM. So we're going to revisit some software that looks like it would be very specific for fabrication, which is Pipe Designer 3D it's called. We want to obtain and start using the robotic stations that was on a previous slide there a couple back, that will take the information from the model and we can use that to do field layout. We want to design a BIM library management strategy. This has become a real issue for us in that all the pieces of equipment and pipe fittings and valves, all the dimensional data and the properties of these we're finding very difficult to obtain and manage those libraries. Products change, manufacturers change product over time as they make improvements. So if we have data from a year or 2 years ago and they've created a new version of that pump or boiler or what have you, we need to know that. But once you've started to amass a library of 10, 20, 30,000 items, how do you stay on top of that? We don't see the answer to that yet, but it's something that we're trying to track down. Our medium-term goals are now to develop our spool drawing capability for pipe fabrication to a higher level so that we can use them in a shop environment. We are in the process of setting up a pipe fabrication shop. We've recently bought a new property and we're converting one of the buildings to a fabrication shop, which will tie into our whole BIM strategy of pre-design and spooling and then fabricating and shipping to site. So we want to develop a weld pipe line, a groove pipe fab line, and then a small bore fab line for small diameter screwed or soldered copper steel pipe. Overhead crane facility to allow easy use on the larger diameter welded pipe, which is quite heavy. And then put in place transportation components so that we can get those to site. Our longer term goal is to look at robotic stations for the fab shop. So rather than just having welders and fitters doing the physical measuring, cutting, laying out, welding, we would be able to send the data to a robotic station and have those tools manipulate the pipe, the welding. I don't know if any of you have ever been to a sheet metal fabrication shop, but a lot of their fabrication is done this way now, where they have plasma cutters that are cutting and moving the ductwork as it's manufactured. And we want to phase in packaging systems so that we can, once we've prefabricated, prepare them for shipment to out-of-town locations, whether it be offshore or up north. So the challenges remaining are setting up this fab shop, finding the right tools and equipment to do that we can eventually export the data from our model to. We don't want to set up a dumb fab shop that is strictly old school. We want to try and foresee how it's going to come out of the model so that it can feed into the fab shop as smart objects. And BIM library management. As I said, this is a really a big problem for us, and something that we're trying to track because it is so specific to us. When we're building it, we have to have the right information. We can't have outdated information, or we're going to be back in the same spot we were when we used to do it manually, that information's out of date, it doesn't fit, now what do we do? So it's critical to have the current information that goes into the model. Managing our BIM team in the field. As Dale mentioned, you know, we're going in the future to be seeing the foreman walking around the site with tablets. We see that coming very soon, from a standpoint of having all the current information in the palm of his hand, the ability to take photographs of problem areas and send those right from the field to the consultant team for resolution, along with a cut of the either the model or the drawings that he's got on his tablet. Can really facilitate speeding up the request for information process. Selecting the right software to go with that is something we have to tackle. And measuring the effectiveness of BIM. This is one that we haven't really found any detailed solutions. There's some very high-level gross measurements available, but we're looking, as we use this more and more, to try and determine if we really are gaining ground or if we're just treading water and spending money on BIM that we would have spent on rework. Although that's a benefit in itself, in that the client isn't suffering the schedule delays that you would have when you're having a rework project. And return on investment is something that you know, we need to get down the road a bit to determine what that is. So our initial vision has really expanded. We are definitely BIM believers now. We've proven it to ourselves, and we're looking forward to now finishing out our sort of internal BIM programs, where we're working as a lonely BIM contractor and starting to get involved on projects that are fully BIM implemented, from the consultants through the general contractor and all the trade contractors. So that concludes our presentation. We're going to open it up for questions now. This is one last clip that Laheen did of another mechanical room, and I'll just let that run. So if anybody has any questions for anybody on the panel, feel free at this point.